I'd like to thank HUD for an extension of 2 more years for us to be sure that the Hurricane Harvey funds get deployed.
Ring the bells and bring out the banners, because it appears Houston City Hall and elected statewide leaders are apparently working together for the greater good. Exhibit A, Texas Land Commissioner Don Buckingham buying more time from the feds so that shortchanged Houstonians can access more than $40 million in long overdue relocation money. After a decade of open warfare, even county leaders welcome the peace and potential for cooperation.
At the end of the day, people want the government to work. And when we can work across party lines for solutions, when we can work city, county, state, and the federal government, because we have all been granted this opportunity to serve the same people.
Commissioner Buckingham credited Mayor John Whitmire, her longtime state Senate colleague, for breaking the impasse.
Good relationships always help because there's a level of trust that might not have been there otherwise. I think one of my greatest frustrations when first taking office is that the mayor at that time, Mayor Turner, had no interest in any kind of a productive relationship.
Panel, while campaigning, Mayor Whitmire pledged to mend fences with Republicans in Austin for the benefit of the city. Is it fair to say this is a major first step, Sue Lovell?
Well, elections matter, that's for sure, and you're seeing this right here. You know, this is what good government looks like, and it's just so nice to see that finally happening, and I hope it's forecasting of the future of how people can get together from both sides and move forward on things that are very good for the public and include everyone. I thought it was an historic moment, truthfully, and we'll look back in history at that day and say, this is when good government started again in our city and our county and hopefully our state. And the General Land Commissioner is awesome. I've worked with her on some different projects, and what she wants to do is to deliver to the people, and she did.
All right, Bill, you made the point when you have the 8th biggest economy in the world, which is Texas, and the biggest city, which is Houston, which I think is something like the area's 1/3 of the economy. They've got to work together, and when they're not, we're not hitting on all cylinders.
Well, kudos to John, first of all. I mean, this is one of the reasons I and a lot of other people voted for him, was we thought he would have these relationships and be able to build some bridges back with the state. So I'm just thrilled to see that's happening. But something I want to note about that clip, people need to save that, because you saw 2 rising stars in Texas, Don Buckingham and Leslie Briones. Both women, both smart, one from each party, and both that are committed to getting things done. You're going to see a lot more from these 2 ladies in the future.
All right, Gary, what do you think about all this?
I think it's great. I think that John has delivered on his relationships, which I think is important. But the thing that's distressing is this. Mayor Turner was in office for 8 years, and the opportunities that John Whitmire is taking advantage of were there for Turner too. He just had to be out there and ask, please, why don't we work together? But instead, he was out there just getting cheap political points and not making any progress for the city or the people needed here. John Whitmire is a refreshing breath of fresh air.
Well, I'm going to try to take a suggestion from Marcus and try to look a little bit more forward instead of back, but I want to allow you to talk about this issue.
Well, listen, I think, you know me, I'm anti-partisan politics ambassador #1. I think it is a cancer in our city, state, county, country, and we're addicted to it and won't get away from it. I'm hopeful that this is the future moving forward for Houstonians and for Texas. Gary, I gotta say, it takes 2 to tango. Right? Both of the previous elected officials failed the citizens of Houston. Whoever was responsible for that money in the state and whoever was responsible for that money in the city, they both failed. And the federal level, who didn't ensure that that money got where it was supposed to go.
So only 15% of our viewers responding to the survey said they know somebody who could have gotten or should have gotten Harvey aid but didn't. I think that's pretty interesting. Bob, your thoughts on this issue?
Well, I want to say Commissioner Buckingham has been doing a great job for the citizens of Texas, not just here in this incident in Houston and Harris County, but all across the state, whether it's the helping the state seize Fronten Island from the drug cartels down on the Rio Grande River, to distributing these funds up in East Texas to counties that needed it up there. you constantly, if you watch her and follow her on Twitter, you're constantly seeing her out doing service to the constituents of the state of Texas. And this situation here with Mayor Whitmire is another example that the mayor has done a great job in reaching out and has shown himself in his first 100 days to be a new leader for the city of Houston.
You know, I watched John Whitmire and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick go into the prisons together for the prison ministry. So, I mean, he has built those links. You know, I'm looking at this situation, and I go back to our last segment and say, well, why can't the Democratic District Attorney call the Republican Attorney General and cooperate that way? But anyway, Sue, I want to give you a few minutes on this.
I do want to say, yeah, I mean, elections matter, and look, John Whitmire, what he did to put that together, bring the money back here, was classic John Whitmire, which is roll up your sleeves, sit down at the table, you know, get a solution to the problem, and move forward and put the partisanship aside. And let's talk about good government. He didn't just talk about it, he delivered.
All right.